So I'm a proud member of the anti-sanding sanding club. So yeah, so here's the thing, man. Like I would just sand on stuff for 10 hours.
Meddler's Corner! Yeah, tune in, let's go! Dropping into a galaxy far away, talking cosplayers and the roles they play. From the actors to the prop makers' art, every single fan plays a vital part. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meddler's Corner. I'm here with the Brodalorian himself, Elvis. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic, man. I met you at the last Rebel Scum Con,
hmm
and I
You
was
were
going
Baylan. I
through.
remember that.
Yes, I was, and I started following you on YouTube
hmm
and all your prop making that you've done. And when I was first going in, figuring out what I needed to do to get my kid even started, like where to
hmm
even start,
hmm
I found your video, and it was one of the only ones. And
That's
brother,
why I made it.
brother, let me tell you, if it wasn't for your video, I honestly don't know where I would have started because you gave it like a rundown, like even for just because I don't make a lot of props. And so it's kind of like, honestly, I need someone to hold my hand sometimes. And you gave it in such a detailed order, in such easy steps that anyone could do it, even a super beginner like myself. And dude, I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the stuff that you make. Dude, you do incredible work. And I think you just need to be shown off to the world.
Well, thanks, man. That's very kind of you, and very kind of you to say about the video because that's it's like my target demographic. Like beginners like me, and I tend to try to show off something in a video, like here's a good skill or here's something I learned, and I tend to act like a professional, but really I learned this like less than a year ago usually, and it's just some new thing that I'm trying. But I tend to search for stuff on YouTube immediately when I have an idea, and if I don't find something, then I feel like I need to go make that video. And for Baylan, that was the exact thing. There just wasn't anything that I could find
Yeah.
at all. So yeah, so then I decided to make a video out of it. And that was really fun. And I remember on that one, I was like, so let's talk about soft parts. Let's talk about upgrading armor. Let's talk about adding electronics. And like I kind of outlined it. So
Mhm.
that's funny that you
Yeah, because when my gauntlets came in, it came with like the standard 3D print buttons, but I upgraded them to do like the resin buttons where they light up and everything, and
yeah,
that
yeah.
was all from you, dude. That I just copied and pasted, man.
Did you do the tape resin light UV light thing? Like I
I did not. I just let it dry naturally on its own because I don't have all the cool gadgets and stuff yet.
Oh man,
I
like a
want all the
UV
cool
light.
stuff,
So you use
but
like regular resin, not like printer resin.
yeah, just
Gotcha.
the honestly, just the Hobby Lobby
Yeah,
A
yeah.
and B, and then just let it sit and dry and mix the color and
See,
call it
that's
good.
cool. I need to learn more about resin because I've only ever done 3D printer stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be the next thing I'm gonna have to learn. Like resin
So
casting.
when I was looking into resin, I needed something easy because it was the same thing. Like you have all these people that talk about ratios this and then ratio that, like all these numbers. I'm like, I just need it super simple. And so there's
Mhm.
an A part and a B part, and it's a 1-to-1. Just half of this, half of that, mix it up, add your color, and then you can add more little droplets.
Mhm.
It looks like food coloring,
Yeah.
honestly. And then you can just mix it up to get that ideal color that you want, and then just pour and let it sit and don't touch it because like those bubbles,
Mhm.
you honestly want those bubbles to rise and then fade
Mhm.
out, and then just be super patient. I was the
I've seen
absolute
people put them
worst.
like in those tanks that suck all the air out, those like vacuum.
hmm Yeah,
Um,
those one of our uh, one of our members here up in the Amarillo area. She doesn't do a lot with resin, but she's worked with resin,
mhm.
and she does. kind of have a machine like that, and I know her husband also has like the UV light that you're talking about.
Hmm.
And dude, like we up here, we call her the Mando mom. Like I promise you, like she is the armorer herself. Like she made her own kit
Really?
out of aluminum. She's made so many things, and dude, she's absolutely incredible. And so I did a video with her, like honestly last year. But yeah, going back into like the whole resin, like she knows all that stuff, and I always call her. I'm like, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. Please help.
I
um,
mean, there were
but
some serious costumes at Rebel Scum Con,
yes,
and I loved a lot of them. But her in particular, their Mando outfits, like I kind of got embarrassed from staring a little bit because I don't want to just like randomly walk up to people and be like, "Oh, this is so cool. Well, let me touch it. Like, what's it made of?" Like,
yeah. Hmm.
but
Yeah,
theirs, like, I really kind of stared. I was like, "Wow, those look great."
she put in so many hours. Her and her best friend, they did like twins, Twi'lek twins, and
Awesome.
uh, they her friend lives in Lubbock, and they're part of our group up here in West Texas, and they did kind of like a similar, identical Mandalorian kit, and it was so cool to watch.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the people I'm trying to get on here is, just to explain more about, prop making. And
Hmm.
so for you, when you begin a kit, or if it's Star Wars or not, can you take us through what you do? Like, is it 3D print? Do you cast? Like, what are your specialties that you do when it comes to making props for
Yeah.
cosplay?
So for me, I started with just like a CR10, real simple Creality 3D printer that was big enough to print helmets.
Hmm.
They were really, really rough. And for like the first 5 years of learning 3D printing, I got really good at hiding layer lines and stuff like that because they were so bad. So I have worked with a couple of resin helmets. I do no resin helmets myself. I don't do any casting. I'm very interested to get into that. Um, but so I have a couple of helmets that I bought a kit for, and
Okay.
it was just like, ooh, it's too tempting to get it like ready to go for paint versus printing it. Like my Kylo Ren one, like it's just resin kit, just ready to go as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
But no, I usually 3D print my helmets, and I use a Bamboo Lab H2D right now. It's kind of my new favorite. But nowadays you can print so well if you put a lot of effort into slicing it, that
Okay.
it's dang near you can't see any lines. It still needs a sanding and some primer. Uh, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to filling layer lines, it's getting so much easier now. Like so this one I tried printing really, really well so that there wasn't a lot of lines on it. I don't know how close I can get to this camera.
I can kind of see, like, it's very minimal, very, very minimal of the
Yeah.
layer lines.
Like, yeah, so I mean it's getting really, really good to the point where you just don't see layer shifts. Like there's nothing for your finger to catch on.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, so I'm printing like this in PETG. I just switched to PETG like this
Okay.
week. So that's the new
I see
plan.
that style of helmet. Is that a Paz?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a Pez. So I am starting a new cosplay for Rebel Scum Con. Uh,
Okay.
so I got a buddy going as Boba, and then we're trying to convince two different friends to bring their Jason Mando kits because I got like really nice Mando kits. Um, so anyway, I was thinking I'd do a Paz Vizsla. I'm definitely the right size for it, you know.
Hey, there you go,
Um,
man.
so this is a Paz Vizsla helmet that I had in my
Hmm.
shop for the last 3 years. I printed it and then never did anything with it. You can
Okay.
still see some layer lines through it. Like this is like the old type of printing that I used to do, real rough.
Okay.
I went from primer to this finish in about an hour. So like I just knocked it out because I knew it isn't going to be the nicest helmet with all the lines and stuff. I didn't want to put more effort into it. So I knocked this out in an hour, and I was like, I'm ready to be Paz Vizsla. Like I'm just so into it now. So yeah, I'm working on it. I'm actually sizing right now. So the one that I just showed you, the layer lines. Now look at the size of this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Got
So
put,
this
put a
is
little bit of padding in there, man.
this is a different model maker than I'm used to, so it's huge.
Okay.
Their scaling's a little different. So working on a new trick, and this is a trick for your 3D printer fans, right?
So you're talking about scaling. So for someone like me, I don't know what do you mean when you're talking about scaling? Are we talking about
Oh, I got
sizing? Are we talking
you.
about like the fine-tuned things of like how it prints? Like what are we talking about here?
Exactly. Yeah. So model makers will make the STL files, right? The models that
Hmm.
will download in 3D print. And then they have to make it in a size, and then you have to make that size correct for you. So that's called scaling. So this one here is 96% scale because it looks so much bigger than the one that I had already painted. So I went down to 96%. I also actually
Okay.
measured my head and put it in a slicing software to see if it would fit and stuff. And I thought I had it
Yeah.
perfect, but clearly that software didn't do the trick. Uh, so this took like 3 days to print really nice. I decided I'm not going to waste that time anymore. So I loaded the model and I scaled it down twice now. I went down to 94. Now this is 90. And this thing
Okay.
weighs like an ounce. This is a single wall print. So there's like no infill on the inside. So it's like super flimsy. I basically printed it in 300 grams just so that I could knock out an 18-hour helmet, just so I
Wow.
can go test to see how the fit is. And
Okay.
now, I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm going to go maybe up to 91 and I got a great helmet. And now I'm going to print it nice versus,
Right. Oh,
garbage
okay.
stuff I
So
had
you're
left
just
over.
you're just doing testing. That's not like your final. And so you're just trying to get it. Okay, awesome. Okay. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. That's cool.
Like this thing,
Um,
you can squeeze it. It's so thin. There's
okay.
just nothing to it. But yeah, it was just to get the size right and test it out.
So how long have you been into prop making? How did you get into cosplay? What was your, I guess, your push into making Star Wars props or any
So
movie
yeah.
props that is.
So I've made lightsabers since I was a kid from, Ace Hardware parts and the plumbing section and stuff like that. But that was something I did when I was a kid. When I was really getting back into lightsabers again, you can see I'm kind of a collector back there.
Yeah.
Uh, I was hanging out with this really, really big lightsaber community of people, and we're talking more and more. And all of a sudden, people are showing off helmets, and I'm like, "Ooh, I like that. I want to get into that next." And then you go and look at a really nice helmet, like a Jason Props Mando helmet, kind of known as one of the better ones out there, $450. And I'm like, I can't afford that. Like I can barely afford anything at the I mean, I've I've done a little better in my career since then, but like back then, man, I couldn't afford a Black Series helmet, you know? So so I had saved up a little money to get one helmet, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to spend it on a printer instead. I'm going to make my helmets because that's how I can afford it. And I don't mind working hard at something. Like I like learning
Mhm.
new skills. So I bought the printer and it was a nightmare for like the first 6 months. It's it was a huge learning curve back then because there was no really support. You could like go read it on threads on different, you know, Reddit type pages and
Mhm.
forums and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But nowadays, it's like the printer is like, whoa, whoa, hey, something's not working right. I'm going to pause it and send you a text message and let you know you got to come look at this, and you come look at it, and you're like, yeah, that's acceptable. Keep going, and it's just so smart. And I used to have to really. So there's this print bed in 3D printing, and that's what it prints the volume on. And you had to make this thing perfectly even and straight because if you're a half a millimeter higher here than over here, it might not stick. So you needed it perfect. And I would spend hours with the little tiny gauges and stuff trying to get it just right so that first layer looked really nice. And that's when my printing got good. But nowadays, it's just like, I got it. I'll figure it out for you. And it's like I've never had to measure anything in my printer. It's just in the bamboo lab. It's amazing to me how smart it is. But yeah, so
That's
people
so
getting into
cool.
3D printing, it's an
Mhm.
amazing time to get in.
So majority of your work is 3D printing.
Mhm.
After you have the print and you have it the way that you want it to your liking, what's the next process that you do when it comes to finishing up or going even further in the making of your prop?
So I'm a proud member of the anti-sanding sanding club. So yeah, so here's the thing, man. Like I would just sand on stuff for 10 hours. No joke. Like I would just spend a whole day sanding these things to the point where it was like glass smooth before I started. Well, I mean, you start on the prop just sanding dry, and then you start adding
Uh-huh.
your fillers, and then you sand, and then you uh, primer, and then you sand, and then you wet sand, and you get everything just perfect before you even go into painting. And that process is the harder, longer. I mean, harder is probably not the right word, but that's the more grueling, the long hours for very little result kind of thing. Because the difference between someone sanding for an hour versus 5 hours, I can see immediately at conventions now. And when I see it, like I'm always like I see someone starting prop making and stuff like that, like they probably their first build they did, and you still see the lines. I'm just like, awesome way to go. I'm always super positive, but like, I never want anything to see that on one of my helmets again. So yeah, I just spend like 10 hours on it. It's crazy, but at least they look good. But
Man,
yeah,
your
so
stuff
that
looks
just we call that the
fantastic.
finishing process, just getting the
Okay.
surface finished and ready.
Okay. And then from there, do you use Bondo or with how you sand, do you just immediately go into like a filler primer or heck, even just primer?
So yeah, no, I definitely sand before anything. I mean, people have all kinds of different ways of going about it.
Mhm.
A lot of them are trying to skip steps, and you tend to notice that steps were skipped later. So I try to do it like the right way. Um, so when you print, the only thing that really creates lines are like, so as a layer prints, it can be just tiny little, tenth of a millimeter movements,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So the first thing you do is you knock down. So imagine like a zigzaggy surface. You want to knock off the hills off of those high ends, and then you want to
Mhm.
fill the center down to the valleys. So you don't want to like sand all the way down to the valleys. You just want to sand to the middle and then start filling the valleys, and that's how you get like that perfect surface. But sometimes people will 3D print and just start slapping a whole bunch of filler on there, and they'll just sand that. I like to get the least amount of fillers added to it as possible. So I want it to be
Okay.
like as mostly helmet as possible. I've done Bondo. I've done Bondo glazing spot putty mixed with acetone sprayed in an airbrush, which was a really crazy idea. Of course, it ruins an airbrush. But like if you want to like this really even Bondo surface to it, I thought it was kind of neat to do that. A lot of people just mix Bondo and acetone and wipe it on the helmet. That's a good strategy. But I've completely moved over to UV resin at this point. So it's the type of resin you find in 3D printer resin.
Okay.
And so I will uh, paint the thinnest layer of the 3D printer resin. I mix baby powder into it just to make it easier to sand too. But
Okay.
um, so I put just the lightest layer of that on, take it into the sun or put a UV light on it, and then another layer if I need to, and another layer if I need to. But it's always like these super, super tiny thin layers. You're basically just making the helmet look wet. Like you put it on and take it off. You just want it to look wet, and then you harden those layers. And that I think gives you a really, really strong filled surface to start off of. But that's just me. People do all kinds of crazy different things. My first helmet, I used wood filler on it. It's actually that Boba Fett helmet that
Oh,
Daniel
wow.
built. But yeah, so I mean, you could use just about anything. But that's my process is using the UV resin.
Okay. Um, how is it, how does the primer take? Is it something that you have to like go over and scratch with the sander for the primer to take that first layer of paint before you actually do the color? Or is it enough that it just sits and it can take paint?
So I'll do my final primer layer, and I will usually wet sand that slightly. So like a really, really high grit wet sand, like a 640,
Hmm?
which is overkill for primer because the surface is going to rough up just from the next layer of paint. So I'm getting it smoother than it's actually going to be than it needs to be.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, then when you start going into your paints, you can just go. But yeah, I'll sand that last round of primer really, really smooth.
So I guess going back to the resin, do you resin the entire, so like let's picture a helmet. Are you resining the entire helmet? Or are you just putting in resin, filling in gaps, filling in um, the imperfections, or is it the entire helmet getting covered in resin?
Both. And if anyone's interested in more of this, I have this video on a Praetorian helmet called
Okay.
using UV resin to fill lines or something. I forget that it was a stupid title. But look for the Praetorian helmet from Mando season three. And that one really goes into it in depth. And like, so I'll take a small pipette or brush, and if there's a little tiny imperfection in a helmet, I think I saw one somewhere, but maybe not. But usually, if you got just this tiny little area where it's just from where the printer moved, had to take a turn or something, and maybe you didn't quite get it all there, I'll take a little pipette, put some resin in there, harden it, and fill imperfections first that are like
Okay.
obvious, and then I'll do the whole surface.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
And
So,
yeah, so filling, I'm a little more drippy, but when I'm doing the surface, it's really like barely making it wet.
okay. Do you have anything that you would like to show us that, because I know you do, that
Uh,
you've
oh yeah,
finished
yeah.
and
So I got a cool one. So this is actually one of the ones that I got a kit on. I think GEC Props did this, and what's really unique about it, and the reason I couldn't 3D print it, is because it's completely red clear resin. So the whole helmet is made of like this red resin, so that when you cut into your paint job and all that, and if you lit it from behind, it'll light up red. And so I obviously can't do that with a 3D printer. So I got this kit, and I painted it, and I spent a lot of time in my video on this particular one about how to use um, a 2K clear coat to make a texture. So the texture on this thing is all added by me. That's all clear coat that I did on super low pressure, and I just kind of like spit clear coat on it to make that texture. Um,
wow.
but yeah, then I added. So I make's the wrong word. I install lightsabers for my own personal collection
Yeah.
and do the electronics. So I actually put lightsaber electronics in here because I didn't know what else to do. So like I have an 18650 battery back here, and then a soundboard out of a lightsaber controlling some neopixels in the helmet. So let me turn this on once. This was definitely the most electronic, uh, it's the most electronics I've ever done in a prop before. But yeah, let me turn the lights off in here. It looks cooler.
Look at that, man. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
I programmed it with these different effects that you can get from these
Yeah.
lightsaber stuff, and so this is
Uh-huh.
like a glowing crawl. It kind of goes across,
Yeah.
the helmet and stuff. So I thought that was kind of
Hmm.
a neat look for it. I think in the movie it actually did have a little bit of a glow. I don't recall, but yeah, I like the movement in it. I think it's neat.
Incredible work, man.
Thank you.
That's so when you first started prop making and then, now seeing your Kylo Ren, um, do you feel like you've outdone those moments when you're like, man, I really wish I could get that Black Series helmet? Because honestly, looking at your stuff, I want your stuff.
Well, thank you. It's funny. I actually have gotten a lot of Black Series helmets, and I kind of acted like I didn't think they were cool for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, why buy it when you can make it? And
Mhm.
I don't feel that way anymore. Like the Scout Trooper Black Series, it's so great. It's of course, it has a battery compartment, and I think the little thing around the black part in the front is just a little bit too thin or too thick. I forget, but like it's so darn close. I'd rather spend $100 on that, throw it on my shelf, and play with it when I want it versus 15 hours into making it just to save $100. I,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And Commander Cody, I literally have in the box sitting right next to me. I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah.
I received it super early too. Like I think I was one of the first people like post that I received it. And I should have just done an unboxing video on the spot, but I was in the middle of moving and so I didn't. But yeah, no, Black Series helmets are cool. Can you get something higher quality? Sure. Like, okay, I got a buddy. He's got a Boba Fett ESB post Sarlacc, or no, yeah, I don't remember. So it's post Sarlacc, so that would be after Return of the Jedi. My bad. And the thing's sick. I mean, it's just the sickest helmet you've ever seen. It's like every little scratch and whatever is like accurate in it. It's got that like Beskar underneath, and like it's just picture perfect. He spent $1,000 on it. You know what I
Whoa.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's the nicest looking Boba helmet I've ever seen,
Hmm.
and I give him that.
Yeah.
But 99% of the population is probably happy with $100 Boba,
Yeah.
on their shelf behind them. So,
Yeah.
it kind of goes both ways. Turn my light on.
Right. Um, I guess now moving away from prop making, what what got you into Star Wars? Why Star Wars for yourself?
Uh, so my parents weren't into Star Wars.
Hmm.
My dad's into like building hot rods and stuff like that, and I love that stuff too. Um, but I remember my aunt would babysit us after school until my parents got off work, and she had the VHS series, and she had a big screen TV, and that was like really weird, like this is early '90s, right? So,
Hmm.
and I remember asking about the Darth Vader because I think it was a Yoda, Darth Vader, and like a stormtrooper or something. And I was like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Well, that's Darth Vader." I'm like, "Who's that?" Well, it's hard to explain. He's kind of like a robot space wizard, like, and she's like, let's watch it. And she showed it to me. And the first time, you see this lightsaber light up, the Graflex in Luke's hand,
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? What is this? I want that. Does this happen? Is this real? Like, what is there more? And then of course when you get to Return of the Jedi, and now you got the larger battles with the green lightsaber and everything, a lot more choreographed fights and stuff. I was just so into lightsabers was like the first thing that I was like, oh my God, I love this. But now, of course, it's for the story, the lore, and I'm, pretty deep into it. And, my favorite character is Obi-Wan because of all the struggles he's been through with life, and he still chooses to like be good and move on and keep going and do what's right. So yeah, no, now it's all about the characters and who they are and what their stories are, what they represent, and how I can translate the things in my life and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it really started off of laser swords. Like I wanted to fight with laser swords.
Cool, man. That's so cool. Do you have your favorite episode? Are you a prequel or are you the OG trilogy?
So, I mean, I love OG, but so the prequels came out in 1999. I was in ninth grade, so I was what, 15. These are some pretty like interesting years to be into Star Wars because I'm like old enough to like drive and go to this hardware store and buy these parts and like start making things. So it was really different for me, the prequels versus the OG, because that was how we started with VHS. We got
Yeah.
to 97, we got the special edition, I think. So, became into it all over again. And then 99, when we get the prequels, that was Like I won tickets off the radio station. I went in cosplay with two friends to go see the movie before it came out because that was still a thing then. And it was just nuts. I was so into it, and yeah, it never left me.
Awesome, dude. That's really cool. So we got the new stuff now
Hmm?
with Star Wars. We have the newer trilogy, the J.J. Abrams trilogy. We have the Mandalorian. We have Ahsoka. We have the Obi-Wan series. Has there been anything that you've seen on those and you're like, man, I want to build that? So you had your passion with lightsabers, and is there anything new recently that you've seen you're like, I want to build? You know,
Ev-
or are you currently working on
Everything, dude. You know, so
everything?
I I'm terrible for having a lot of ideas. Like I have so many ideas and I write a lot
Mhm.
of them down. And the list is just pages long. And of course, I never get back to it because I just have to focus on the thing I need to do now. But like I want to do the Moff Gideon helmet, although I think there's a Black Series that one, so I might just buy that one. But I want to do the Mando Trooper helmet. Need to make another Praetorian for myself. Obviously Paz. Um, God, the Cassian modular blaster, you know, sniper thing.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That
Um,
was a cool weapon.
I printed out the Cassian, you know, just the what's the name of that gun again? I forget the
Dude, you're asking
I don't
me.
remember, but
Let's look it up. We can find it.
I remember because it was like the same style as Kyle Katarn had in Jedi Knight 2, I think the game, or Jedi Outcast, I forget. But anyway, don't matter.
Okay.
Like a lot of the blasters I want to make. Mando's new blaster rifle from the trailer
Yes.
looks
That one
really cool.
looks like one of those old like Winchesters, man, that you just like, oh,
And then it
so
has the same
slick.
stock like the
Yep.
Boba's EE3, and yeah, I need to make that. That's cool. I made an EE3 not too long ago
Huh.
for my buddy who's doing that Boba cosplay. It's such a cool blaster. I just love it. And now to take like one side of that and then add the like rifle with the almost
Mhm.
silencer cyberpunk looking thing to end, or muzzle or whatever it is. Yeah, it looks really cool. I need to make that. But yeah,
Okay.
I want to make everything. I just, you
Mhm.
know, I have a 3 hour commute every day. You know, I got two kids, one in a soccer club. You know, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to get to work on time. So like there's just not a lot of time when you have to go to bed by like 9 to get any sleep. Um, but yeah, I wish I didn't have to work because I would just be making stuff all day, every day.
Dude, I wish Star Wars was, just real life all the time, every time, That's all we would have to do. You and I would be set.
Right? What
So
about you?
we're getting, say what?
Are you working on anything?
So I am currently working on a Clone Wars Plo Koon.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, I will have it for Rebel Scum Con
Hell
coming on.
yeah, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So how are you doing the mask?
So I had a buddy, not a buddy. I reached out to someone or one of my buddies. I was like, hey, I don't know where to even start on this. And he's like, hey, this mass particular, just any Plo is really hard to find.
Well,
I
Dram
didn't
makes one and he's got an amazing one. You should check it out.
I was looking around and I saw a lot of 3D printed. I was like, I don't know if I want a 3D
Yeah.
printed mask. And
Same
so
thought of.
I went all the way to this guy all the way in Spain. His name's Ray,
Mhm.
and he just made a Plo Koon mask. It's a silicone, and made all the hands and made the mask and
Yeah, because he's got
sent
like three
it.
fingers, right, or something.
Yep, it's the thumb and three fingers, and it's the middle one's like really really big. And so having to, because in the series, Plo has the glove, and put the glove on with that, and you had to like cut the fingers. Oh my gosh, it was like a nightmare getting that thing
This is the
through.
guy I was thinking of. He makes
Yeah. So yes, I did see him, I reached out to him and he wasn't making it because he makes so many other things
Yeah.
besides Plo.
Yeah, he
And
hasn't done a
so
Plo in a long time, I've noticed. I had to scroll for a minute to find it.
I reached out to this guy and I was lucky enough to get that because there's not a lot of people that make latex or silicone based
Mhm.
masks to begin with,
Real
alien
art.
creature wise. And so it came in and I'm looking at it, I'm like the detail
Oh, you already
on
have it?
this. Yeah, you want to see
Dude,
it?
show me. I want to see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll bring it. Is it not doing? Okay.
Yeah, just hold it in front of you. That should be all right.
There you
That
go.
looks sick, dude. Oh,
Oh no!
that's
Pick up the
really cool.
face. And
So
so
the,
all
the
the
the front silicone too, then, huh?
and then this part right here is like a foam, styrofoamed kind of base. And so it just is a little respirator goes on, and you have the entire. Come on, camera, work with me. There we go. You have the entire Plo and to just all the details on his forehead, through the eyes, and everything is just incredible work. Incredible work.
That's really
Ray
cool, man.
Ray did such a fantastic job making it, and I know I would never be able to do it. And
Yeah.
so then I had a buddy print off the gauntlets, and I'm currently working on those um, so
Yeah,
that.
they're those Jedi bracers or are they called
Mhm.
gauntlets? I forget. They're a lot thinner, aren't they? They're not like Mandalorian,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yeah, it's just like a thin. It's honestly just clone trooper armor,
Okay.
and so I'm trying to make a contraption so that I can like slip the gauntlet and his hand on all in like one little movement,
Okay.
so that I'm not having to like
Yeah,
put the
so it's
glove
like it's
on.
part of the glove.
Yeah, so I'm not having to like put the hand on, then put the gauntlet on, and then like, okay, well, someone's gonna have to put the mask on me. So,
Mhm.
I want to just make it a lot easier for, traveling and for also just cosplay effort as well.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
How far back did you look at my videos?
Uh, I have looked back probably since you first started, man.
Oh, so you have found the silicone mask. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, okay. As I have a folder here of like all the costumes. I just can't. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So like, there's a clown that I did
Ah,
full
yeah.
prosthetic. Yeah. Here's a zombie I did. It was really like this one.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I used to do a bunch of stuff with the makeup and the silicone too. Um, it's fun stuff to work with. Really, really big Halloween guy, so I wanted to make something really creepy. On that Plo Koon, you obviously asked the guy who made it, but like sometimes you can just take a little petroleum jelly and just like kind
Okay.
of rub it all over it, so it makes it look like real skin that like kind of has a shine on it and kind of
Okay.
makes it look more like
Natural.
you could see moisture to it almost like it's
Okay.
living
Okay.
skin. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
You
ask
gave
them
me
first because it could not react well with the paint or something. But yeah,
okay.
there's different ways to make it look really cool, like live, like in a con, so it doesn't look like it's dry.
Yeah. But no, I'm very excited for this one. Then we have a local lady here in town, here in Amarillo, and she's making the Jedi tunic for me because I'm not a seamstress. I don't even know. I
Yeah,
can sew a button on, but that's about as far as it goes.
I used to sew, but unless you keep doing it, like I lost it. Like I
It
made a
is it's
whole Morpheus snake skin jacket, like the alligator
oh
skin or whatever, his long
cool.
coat. Yeah,
Yeah.
I made one of those, sewed the whole thing, did it myself with the seamstress teaching me. And
Mhm.
then, 5 years later, I couldn't figure out how to turn the sewing machine on. So it's not a skill I have either.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you for taking the time to sit with me today. It was honestly
Absolutely.
a pleasure. I loved meeting you at RebelCon this past summer, and I'm so excited to see you again this coming up here in August.
Star Wars Summer Camp,
Hopefully,
man.
Star Wars summer camp. You got that right. Are you planning on going to Celebration?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Um,
awesome. Because
I
I'm
also
making those
moved, by
plans
the way. I
too.
don't know if you know, but like I'm in Salina now. I'm in the Dallas area.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys come in for like what's the big con they have here?
Is it
Uh
Fan Expo?
Fan Expo. Like if you come in for any of that kind of stuff, hit me up because
Yeah,
I'm in Dallas.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Before I forget,
Yeah.
where can people go to find you to get information on things that you're doing, things that you're creating, or even just to ask you questions when it comes to
Yeah.
prop making?
So I'm mostly active on Instagram. I've started to use Facebook a little bit just because that's where all the cool clubs are. But like I don't use Facebook for social media. So
Okay.
anyway, I'm starting to use it more, but Instagram super active. You can find me at the Brodalorian. Same on YouTube at the Brodalorian or Brodalorian.com. It's just a link tree page that bring it to any of my socials. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, or comment on a video or just send me a DM. Like anyone that's making something I can help with, or want to ping an idea off me or something like that, I'd love it.
Well, dude, I just want to tell you, you definitely have a talent and you make some incredible things. And, your videos that you do create, your how-tos, your process that you go through, dude, it's like watching one of those like relaxing HGTV shows that, you're just sitting back and I could watch those all day. That's honestly how it is. And I respect that so much because it's just a decompress thing for me to watch and be like, okay, I can do this, I can make
Mm.
this. And so I'm constantly just like when I was making my Baylan, I would just play, pause.
I do that on so many videos.
But man, your
Fix the garbage
how-tos,
disposal, like you know.
your how-tos, man, are incredible. Please keep it up. Um, keep posting those things because the people need to see them, man.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I plan on coming back with some energy here, so I'll make some
Good,
more
dude.
videos. So thank you. It was a good timing. I like this.
Yep. Well, dude, I hope you have a great rest of your day,
Yeah, you
and
too.
we'll catch up again here at Rebel Con, man.
For sure. See you there.
Meddler's Corner! Yeah, tune in, let's go! Dropping into a galaxy far away, talking cosplayers and the roles they play. From the actors to the prop makers' art, every single fan plays a vital part. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life. We hit the movies and the latest shows, the biggest fan cast everybody knows. Step into the corner, let the force ignite. Meddler's Corner, bringing Star Wars to life.